Welcome to Life Beyond Clinical Practice.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Life Beyond Clinical Practice podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Diane, and this is the final episode of the Courage series. I trust that courage has been building because honestly, you're going to need courage to expand beyond the identity you've been confined to. So today is all about the decision to move, choosing courage without certainty. I want to reinforce what I said in last week's episode, that you will never feel fully ready to expand and to acknowledge that you've been loyal to a version of yourself that you've outgrown. Know that doubt doesn't disappear, you simply outgrow it, and that movement comes before clarity. All of these are what we've been discussing in the Courage series to date to bring us to this point where we stop thinking and you make a decision to move, regardless of the voices, the uncertainty, or whatever it is that's been keeping you trapped. So last week we dealt with guilt primarily and the expansion blockers that you inevitably face when you choose to move past career stagnation or identity suffocation, where you no longer want to define yourself by your clinical title or role. So at this point, I trust that you already recognize what's been holding you back. And so we start this episode with the real question. If all of these thoughts and feelings are perfectly normal for health professionals who face a pivotal point in their career and want to expand, why haven't you made the decision to choose expansion? You see the misalignment, you understand the fear, you recognize the circular patterns of wanting more, facing the resistances, retreating, and then simply looping back through the cycle of resigning yourself to stay where you are for all the good reasons, but then very quickly feeling like you can't stay there for the rest of your life or your career. And yet you're still where you are because you're waiting for something that isn't coming. And that's readiness. Readiness will not come until you start the process of expansion. So today I want to correct that. I want to say it loud and clear. You're not going to feel fully ready, but I hope that at the end of today's episode, you're ready to say yes, at least. Say yes to expansion. Say yes to exploring the path. And the reason you will not feel ready is because readiness suggests certainty. And certainty is exactly what growth removes because it's calling you in an unfamiliar direction. So if your response has been, I'll move when I feel ready, then you already decided not to move and you'll keep staying exactly where you are. And sadly, they never realize your full potential and what awaits you on the other side of those resistances. So this invisible contract I mentioned earlier and in last week's episode, it's the unspoken agreement that you've been saying to yourself, I'll stay consistent with who I've been because it's safe. I won't disrupt expectations because it's uncomfortable. And you'll never admit that to anyone else, right? You also say to yourself, I won't give up what I committed to because it's a sign of failure. These are thoughts in your head that you silently think and would be too embarrassed to admit to anyone. Now, no one asked you to sign that invisible contract, but you've been honoring it anyway because you think that's what others expect of you. And that invisible contract is keeping you aligned with your past at the expense of an expanded future. And you're somewhere in the middle, desiring more, but fearing. So let's make this explicit. You are allowed to want something different and to expand beyond what you originally chose. Your disciplinary background and foundation will never go away. In fact, it is the foundation on which you build everything that comes next. And that's simply growth. It's not escape, it's not running away, it's not choosing something different, it's choosing to expand, to build on what you already have, and to create a more dynamic, more wholesome, more fulfilling career. Now, doubt also won't disappear when you say yes to expansion. You'll probably still think to yourself, what if this doesn't work? What if I waste my time and effort? Those voices will be there. But when you choose expansion, you simply stop treating those voices as authority. So what does courage actually look like? It looks like taking a step without having the full picture, like moving forward while doubt is still present. Because clarity, like I said, doesn't come first. Movement does. And clarity will follow, as will your confidence. Now, everything we've covered in the series comes down to this. When you choose expansion, you acknowledge that you've simply outgrown parts of your current identity. You're not starting over. So I'm here to tell you today, you don't need a full plan to begin. You simply need to say yes. So as we wrap up this courage series, the only thing left is for you to decide what you're going to do about everything you've heard on the Life Beyond Clinical Practice podcast in 2026. You've been made aware and to understand the thoughts and feelings you've been experiencing. You've been told that some of the resistances and conversations in your head are perfectly normal. They're a perfectly natural response to the thought of change when you've built a certain and steady career. But insights without action simply becomes another form of avoidance. It's just knowledge gained, but it's not transformative. So if you're serious about expanding your career, not someday, but now, then you need more than awareness. You need structure and guidance and a way to move forward without second guessing every step. And that's exactly why I created the Career Identity Expansion Lab. This will be a guided process to help you identify how your skills translate beyond your current role, to help you start expanding in a structured, low-risk way and build momentum without burning everything down. It's designed to assist you in crafting a multidimensional career that feeds your intellect, curiosity, passion, and purpose. And truth is, figuring this out alone is hard work, and it's what keeps most people stuck. So, what are you going to do today? Are you going to decide to move forward or stay where you are? Because the longer you wait for certainty, the longer you delay a version of your life that's already trying to emerge. So I encourage you, if you feel ready to, at least say yes to expansion. Join the waitlist for the Career Identity Expansion Lab, and I'll be working with a small, carefully selected group of committed professionals ready to design their next chapter. And I can't wait for that experience, and I hope you are a part of it. So until next time, stop reflecting and start taking action. Goodbye.